everyone. Welcome to Ad Age Remotely, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Jillian Follett, a reporter here at Ad Age, and today I'm going to be talking with Robyn DelMonte, a content creator better known by her social media handle, Girl Boss Town. Over the past couple of years, Robyn has leveraged her background in marketing to establish herself as the internet's agent. Her TikTok videos analyze brands' marketing moves and influencer partnerships, and also highlight campaigns that have earned her coveted GBT stamp of approval. Thanks so much for joining me today, Robyn.
Thank you so much. And the picture that was on the screen, like on my little like Zoom thing before, was me in full glam. And now I do not have full glam because I got a facial recently and needed to let my skin breathe. But you know what? I thought it would be all natural, ready and down to earth to talk with you guys. This is such an honor. As you guys know, I geek out over anything Ad Age. This is just so up my alley. So I'm really excited to speak with you. And this is our second time talking. So I feel like we're friends now.
Yeah, I'd like to think we are. And yeah, thank you so much. So I guess just to start off, I know last time we were talking, you said that you had been a waitress for just a year and a half ago, you were waitressing, and now you're on social media as Girl Boss Town. So tell me a little bit more about how you kind of got to this point and how you started making videos about brands and influencer marketing.
Definitely. So I always wanted to be in a creative industry, but my traditional resume wasn't necessarily getting me into the rooms and the conversations that I needed to be in to do that, which I feel like a lot of people can relate to. So after COVID, I had a little bit of a mental TV, and I was like, what am I doing with my life? Like, I want to be creative, but I don't know what to do. So I quit my email marketing job, got a waitressing job, and started working at Anthropologie. And then I was going to go back to school in November. And during that little break between when I was going to go to school and when I was just waitressing, I started making creative videos during the day about essentially creating a digital resume for myself and putting my ideas out there that I've always wanted to tell brands in person, but they weren't hearing me because I couldn't get into those rooms. And then with the genius of TikTok, you never know what eyes are going to see your videos. So those videos ended up getting on the tables of the CMOs and the CEOs of some of the brands I was actually talking about, which then allowed me to start to build a relationship with them and really take Girl Boss Town, my digital resume, and all the ideas I've ever had in my head and bring it to life and actually allow it to be my full-time career, which is such a blessing.
Yeah, that's such an exciting career path. I'm glad that it worked out for you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm still learning a lot, but it's great. It's been great.
Yeah, and I guess going off of that, I know a lot of your videos involve you talking about brands' social media campaigns that earn your GBT stamp of approval or your of approval. Can you talk a little bit more about kind of the criteria for those, like what it takes to get that GBT stamp of approval?
Yeah, definitely. I think that I always say that to be great on social media, you need to be a part of the internet's inside joke. And you can tell when a brand isn't in on the internet's inside joke. It's basically like, in elementary school when you had an inside joke with some of your friends and there was that one person who like thought they were a part of the inside joke but weren't, and it made everybody feel kind of awkward. Normally that person was me, so no hate to that person. But sometimes you can just tell brands aren't on these apps every day. They don't speak the internet's language and they're not really stepping out and being creative. But when I see a brand or collab that totally understands the internet's language and is so in on the internet's inside joke, that's when I give the GBT of approval.
Gotcha. Yeah, you did the sound better than me.
You're working on it.
Yeah, and then I was wondering, are there any recent campaigns that come to mind when you think of a campaign that's earned that stamp of approval?
I would say the Barbie movie's new trailer and ads for it, I think, are just genius. And something that I love when a brand does is they put so many like Easter eggs and history into that little trailer. And there are people on TikTok breaking down the architecture in the background of the Barbie movie, which is one way to get people talking about the movie. But it's so smart because they knew that people would do that on social media and it would be free advertising for the movie. So I think it was just genius.
Yeah, I was seeing those memes where it's like the profile picture with the little splash background. Like I saw those immediately going
Yeah,
viral.
and then
So
actually
yeah.
in the trailer, they used a lot of architecture in the background of the Barbie movie of different Barbie playhouses that have been made from the 50s on. And there's people like
Mhm.
breaking down all of that. And I just love it because it's like subconsciously getting people to talk about the trailer without just traditionally talking about the trailer, being like, I want to see this. They're like actually breaking down things, and the movie's not even out yet. So I think it was
Mhm.
brilliant. And then all of those Barbie signs that everybody's doing.
Yeah, definitely excited about that movie.
Me too. Not just because of Ryan Gosling, though, but that's all.
We can go see it together.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So speaking of the GBT stamp of approval, you were recently in a Hilton TikTok where you kind of broke the fourth wall a little bit and talked about why that ad got your stamp of approval. I think we have a clip of that if we want to put that on the screen.
Oh my gosh, please. Let me tell you why this Hilton ad is incredible. Brands struggle to show up on this app in an authentic way without it seeming too forced, which is why they need to start working with TikTok creators and allowing them to create TikToks in their own authentic voice, while simultaneously aligning with icons like Paris Hilton. It shows an audience that Hilton is for everyone. With locations around the world, the Hilton family of brands offers expert accommodations. When I'm jet setting, living my best Paris Hilton life, I still feel close to home. Oh my God, it's almost like I'm in a Hilton ad. I feel like I'm talking like I'm in an ad. Oh my God, I'm living in a Hilton ad.
Sliving. Loves it.
Oh my
I need to
gosh.
start using sliving in my vocabulary.
Paris. Loved it. And that's what Paris says. Yeah, that was absolutely incredible. And she was the most professional, best person I've ever worked with. But yeah, I mean, that Hilton ad, not only just utilizing creators like me, which obviously is great, but utilizing Chris Olsen, Bowman, and all of the other TikTok creators in that ad. It just shows that these people who are putting these ads together realize not only the power and the relationship that certain creators have with their audiences, but also that utilizing them to be a part of the creative and be in the ad like it was would just be successful for both ends, for the creator and for the brand. And I just thought it was brilliant. And it definitely got a lot of people talking.
Definitely. And
Yeah.
kind of going off of that, how would you say that brands should be approaching like influencer marketing campaigns? I know like you talked in that one about it, but
I mean, besides hiring Girl Boss Town, I think that the way they should approach campaigns is a lot of times I think brands are stuck in the 2016, 2018 influencer marketing era where they just give somebody a script and they have everybody say the same thing and go along with their day. And I can see why they do that. One, because it's worked in the past. And two, when making ads and you have to deal with legal, it has to go through so many people for it to actually come to life. So I understand the struggle, but I think that brands should really start utilizing creators to be a part of the creative process, or at least a part of the conversation, to let them know, hey, I have such a good relationship with my audience. And if we want my audience to take action off of these apps, we need to speak to them in a way that they're used to and utilize my platform, my audience, and my tone to work alongside with your branding and come up with something that's cool, fresh, relevant, but that translates to my audience and your audience.
yeah, it's kind of moving beyond that traditional influencer model where it's kind of just for a
Yeah,
social media campaign or post, like involving them more
definitely.
deeply.
And bringing them in earlier on in the process.
Gotcha. Yeah,
For
and I
sure.
guess on the flip side there, is there anything that brands are kind of falling short on when it comes to influencer marketing campaigns?
I would say I think there are so many creatives on these apps that make full-blown feature films just like after school for fun and put them on TikTok. I think the videographers, the photographers, the makeup artists, the stylists, the creative directors that just do this for fun, it would kill to leave their 9 to 5 to work for a brand and do a campaign is endless. So I think that some brands I can tell are sticking to their traditional ways, which is great because I mean it's worked for them. I like I continue to say it's nothing against that, but I think if they started giving some of these people the chance on these apps to work with them, it would just be incredible. And to like actually take that chance to work with creatives who don't necessarily have a traditional resume.
Yeah, there are so many wildly talented people on TikTok. People even make like kind of like mock ads, like here's how I would make this ad.
Exactly. And I
Yeah,
love that. And I think that if brands started utilizing that, it would be so great.
Yeah, definitely.
for sure.
Yeah, and I know that Girl Boss Town is more than just a social media handle for you. You were saying a little bit earlier that you kind of are a consultant for brands, and it's kind of Girl Boss Town is your name as a brand consultant. Can
Yeah.
you talk more about how you work with brands as a consultant and what they're looking to you for?
Definitely. So obviously forward facing, I've built my brand off of like my face and my videos, but then on the back end, Girl Boss Town is a brand and a business, and I do social consulting, trend forecasting, and creative direction. And some of the times I can speak about who it's for, some of the times I can't. So a lot of times my audience is always like, why aren't you getting paid for these ideas? And I'm like, I am. It's my job now. But how they work with me is, one, they either see my videos online and they want to strictly utilize me for my ideas and how I think and trend forecasting and creative direction. And they'll say, we have a spring campaign coming out. What do you think about it? What do you think about the ad that we came up with? Who are some influencers you think we could tap for it? What direction do you think the creative should go in? What have you been seeing that you like? And kind of work on a meetings relationship, like, oh, I'll sign a contract for like one meeting a month for 6 months. Or they'll allow me to be on the creative side and do the consulting and also be in the ad. Or there could just be an overall branding consulting where I'm working with a brand and it'll be for a year and I'm kind of with them throughout their entire creative and social process. So we're definitely building out that side of my business, which I love so much. And we're working with some really exciting people that I can't announce yet, but once it comes out, you guys can come back to this conversation and be like, oh, that's who she was talking about. So now, not to keep you on the edge of your seat, but it's really big and very exciting.
Yeah, that's great. I'm looking forward to hearing about it once you're able to share.
Yeah, definitely. I'll share with you first.
Oh, thank you.
Adding.
Yeah, and I guess I'm curious what you prefer. I know you said that you have been on the camera side, like more the creative side, and then working with brands kind of on the analysis trend forecasting side. Do you have
Yeah.
a preference?
Look, I would say either or both, because my thing is, at the end of the day, when I wake up, all I want to do is be creative. And that's what I tell my team. And if I'm able to be creative in front of the camera, then I love doing that. And if I'm able to be creative behind the camera, I love doing that. But that's just what I like doing the most.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know some of your TikTok videos actually are kind of like brand consulting in a sense, because you
Yeah,
kind of will pick a campaign and discuss kind of how you would have approached it differently. How do you
definitely.
kind of decide to choose which campaigns to talk about for those videos?
It is really random, and it's basically just based on, well, random in a sense, but the thing I'm most proud of for my brand and me in general is that when people think of marketing, advertising, and branding, they think of Girl Boss Town. So whenever a new ad or collab comes out, they'll tag me in the comments. So
Mhm.
sometimes, a lot of the times, when a lot of people tag me in a campaign, I'll go over it, or I'll just see it organically and speak on it.
Yeah. I was actually gonna ask, do brands ever, like, reach out or respond when you post a video about a campaign they made?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And that just starts a relationship, which I love.
Yeah. What are they usually, like, saying? Are they like, "Wow, we got noticed by Girl Boss Town," or
Yeah, essentially. I mean, it changes that every time, but in a way, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And I know you're also a creator yourself, so you've worked on campaigns like Hilton where you've been, like, in front of the camera, like you were saying, in part of the ad.
Mhm.
What are you kind of looking for when it comes to brand deals like that?
I would say my whole brand is branding. So like when looking for brands to work with in this digital landscape, I look for brands that I align with. I mean, as simple as that is, it's not reinventing the wheel, but I always ask my why. So it's like, why am I making this video? Like, what am I going to get out of it? Why do I feel like I need to speak on this? Why do I want to work with this brand? What will that look like? And kind of really just focusing on brands that I align with and brands that I have strong relationships with that I know will allow me to be creative, and I trust and like their vision as well.
Yeah. And besides the Hilton ad, which I know is one of your more recent ones, are there any brands you've worked with recently that you enjoyed working with?
I can't pick a favorite. I definitely can't pick a favorite, but I would say just my time out here in LA and meeting with brands face to face, I think has just been incredible.
Great. Yeah, and I guess on the other hand, when it comes to a brand deal, is there anything that you like will make you want to pass on it? Like anything that you don't enjoy?
I would just say a lot of times people hire me to be creative, and then that's not really what it looks like.
Mhm.
So I, instead of just signing onto a brand deal and then speaking with the brand, I always have to speak with them first and always have to have an intro meeting before I sign a contract for a brand deal or anything like that. Because I really need to know that, like, not only do we work great together, but that they're open to having some of my creativity and that what they're thinking of doing aligns with what I want to do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I have to ask about this in terms of like other platforms that you're on. Like, how are you kind of using some other platforms like Instagram, or I don't know if you're on YouTube Shorts at all. Are you using any other
Yeah,
platforms?
I'm on both. But recently I've been really liking Instagram again. I feel like a lot of us, I mean, speaking personally, Instagram, when TikTok really was blowing up, like I was only on TikTok, but now I've been really liking Instagram again. And I feel like really close with my Instagram audience and starting to use Reels, even though people are like, oh, what ends up on Reels is just what was on TikTok a couple weeks ago. Like, all those memes. But I just got a new digital camera and I've just been
Awesome.
kind of liking to be creative and posting it on Instagram, like how I did back in like 2012 when I first got the app.
Mhm.
So I'm really liking Instagram again. And also I love Tumblr and Pinterest. It's great for
Mhm.
making mood boards, especially for like what I do.
I do love Pinterest. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very fun to find a bunch of pretty pictures.
I know, and it's just it creatively inspires me so much. I
Mm.
really like Pinterest.
Yeah, so with Instagram, and I know you were saying you have the digital camera, it's more just kind of like photos of things that like you're kind of seeing in your everyday life. It's not as
Yeah,
much like
I mean, I think
branding.
like I always think that I like to print pictures because I feel like when I have kids in the future, when I have kids in the future, um, what if all of this digital stuff isn't here? So they won't be able to see pictures of me like at this age. And I love looking at pictures of my parents. So,
Mhm.
and I feel like I'm living my coolest life right now. So I want to really document all of this. So I got a camera and then I print out some pictures. But yeah, just like pictures in real time of me with my friends or things that inspire me and
Yeah.
bringing it back to the simple days of social media when you didn't have to think about it.
Mhm. No, I do miss the early days of Pinterest, like, when I was probably in middle school. I remember,
Yeah,
like, actually posting pictures of things and not, like, worrying about how I looked and all
a
that kind of
hundred
stuff.
percent same.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you have any thoughts on some of these newer platforms that have been popping up, like Lemonade or any of those? Have you
I
looked into those at
downloaded
all?
Lemonade like a couple days ago. Not very good at it. There are some people who are already like creating videos like, here's how I edit my Lemonade board. I'm like,
Mhm.
you guys are on top of it. So my roommate has it as well. We've been playing around, but I'm not like an avid Lemonade user, but who knows? I adapt well with social media. So you might see Girl Boss Town taking over Lemonade in the future.
Yeah, I did download it. I've seen people say it's kind of a mix of Instagram and Pinterest.
Pinterest.
I
Yeah.
agree, yeah. It's like kind of that like the categorization, but also it's all pictures mostly, so
Totally.
yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess kind of on the same topic, are there any like trends or developing things in social media or the creator economy that you're looking at or excited about?
I would definitely say, kind of like what I was speaking about before. I like how everybody's taking pictures with digital cameras and doing photo dumps and just posting things that creatively inspire them rather than things being super curated. I love that. And I think Tumblr is going to make a comeback. And I've been
Mm.
seeing that. And Tumblr style has been making a comeback. And I was an OG Tumblr girl.
Oh, me
So
too.
if that comes back, I will be very, very excited. And you will definitely see me on that.
Oh, you're gonna take over Tumblr next?
Yes, that's next. And if Tumblr wants to hire me for consulting and social strategy, like I'm your girl. I've been on it for a minute. I went viral on Tumblr when I was like 17 and it was like the best day of my life.
You'll
Yeah.
have to send that viral post to me.
It
I
was
have to see
literally me
it.
like me in a shirt that said like lax bros. It was
Ooh.
not viral worthy, but you know what? At the time I was living my truth. Yeah.
Well, I guess on that note, I guess we'll wrap things up here. So thanks so much for joining us today, Robyn. I really appreciate
On
it.
that note of lax bros and living my truth, I think that's a
Good
great
way to end.
conversation. But thank you so much. I always say I think that it's time and energy is the biggest privilege in this industry, and the biggest currency. And for you to give me your time and energy to have this conversation with me is massive. And you guys are always so great and so kind to me. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for making time. I appreciate it. Well, be sure to tune in for upcoming episodes of Remotely. You can find out more at adage.com/remotely. And as always, thank you to our Ad Age crew, Lauren Chiardio, Anicia Juarez, and Ana Sakula for making this live stream happen. And thanks so much for watching.